All right, welcome back. Again, we're trying to give you as much possible information as we possibly can here this morning and this afternoon when you're in the plots. Again, it's all about that learning component as well as connecting and continue to bring you some information. There's always a lot of questions about what's going on, and especially in equipment technology. And so we have three folks here that are going to share some thoughts. We are going to change it up a little bit. We've asked each of them to share some overview comments, and then we'll have some time at the end for questions that we really want to take from you, and then we'll do our lunch break. All right, so here we go. With that, you see our three panelists. Joe Gavoski. Joe is the innovation specialist for Meristem. Chad Grip, as you can see, is with Sweetwater Technologies. It's a drone organization, and he's going to share some of the things that he sees going on with drones. And then finally, Tyler Hogriff with the Deere organization, and again, going to be sharing some of the things. I know you'll find that interesting as well as we think about all the things that Deere is doing. So with that, we're going to get right into it. We're going to ask them to do maybe even more introduction of themselves and certainly what they see going on in technology. So here we go.
Okay. Where's up?
Just the big green button.
Big green. Okay, I can handle that.
You can handle that.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Joe Janulski. I've been working with Meristem shortly after they began. As I retired, Mitch Evison asked me to help him out on a few things since I worked with Mitch for many years at our former organization. I'm retired, but a failure at retirement. I'm also a retired certified professional agronomist, a board certified entomologist. I've had nearly 40 years in product development. I've trained growers on spray application, and over the years I've picked off 40 patents, most of which are off patent, which gives you my age. So with that, we'll move forward.
Just the big green button.
Big green button.
There you go. Go on to the next. Well, Chad, you want to go ahead and just give us a quick background, and then we'll get started?
Sure. My name's Chad Grip. I own Grip Custom Farming Corp. It started out as a custom business. It's now an ag retail business. In 2022, we entered in kind of the drone sector of agriculture. We had great success over the last couple years. And this spring, April, May, we launched a franchise model. Currently have some drone franchises in Pennsylvania, 2 in Indiana, 1 in Illinois, and 1 in Minnesota. And while we are, our platform is drones, we are a technology-based business. We're a business development business, going out to the farm gate, helping people create a business model.
Very good. And Tyler?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Tyler Hogriff with John Deere. I am the manager of large ag equipment marketing for North America for John Deere. And so as a part of that, what that means is my team and I are responsible for helping ensure that our dealers and our field teams have the resources necessary to truly support the customers the way they need to be and ensure that our products get in their hands and are used the most effective way as possible. Before that, I've spent 16 years with John Deere in a variety of different roles, from starting with the Intelligent Solutions Group and building technologies for John Deere, and into sales, mergers and acquisitions, corporate strategy, and things along that line. Before John Deere, I actually spent some time with Helena Chemical as well.
Very good.
Very good. I'm going to kick this off as the agronomist of the group. I'm always interested in killing weeds, insect, and disease. That's what I've worked on my whole career. And it's fun to see new technologies that do that more effectively. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's great about this new stuff. The drones, I think, is a remarkable technology that I think it's going to continue to grow rapidly. It gives a lot of people a lot of opportunities. What I love about drones, wet ground, no problem. As long as you can get solid space under your trailer, you're good to go. Small fields, no problem. Perfect alternative for chemistries and buffer zones, and that's a big fear in the future. If we got to put buffer zones around on some technologies, how do we handle that? And I think the really exciting thing is it can bring some real new talent into this industry. Because the guys that like to run computer games, my guess is they make really cool drone operators. So getting those into ag is great. The See and Spray, I think, is a real opportunity for reduction in the use of crop protection products in that post-emergent space, and that's a lot of opportunities to reduce the risk of off-target movement. The other thing could potentially reduce your use of some post-herbicides by up to 90%. That's a little scary, but let's deal with that. Drones, again, as I say, a totally new entity into the application, and I think it's exciting. I think the big questions is, can I make this work for my operation? It's scary. Can I get the staff? Will it work for me? Oh, by the way, can I still control weeds, insects, and diseases with this kind of an application? And the See and Spray, it's the big reduction in the post-emergence herbicide business. 65 to 90%, that pays a lot of bills in this industry for the basic manufacturers, the generic manufacturers, inert suppliers, traditional distributors, traditional retailers. I think luckily none of those are in the room here, so that's a good thing. But they also bring opportunities. I see the success in the See and Spray depends upon a successful pre or burn down herbicide program. I think Meristem has great advantages in those areas with products like Excavator. We know Excavator applied in the fall will help that pre-herbicide in the spring. It also brings an opportunity of soil applied adjuvants that could go with those pre-emergence herbicides. And we're working on that. I think that's an innovation that Meristem's looking at that can bring. So big opportunity for Excavator in the fall and Excavator AMS. Opportunities, See and Spray again. What weeds we are going to spray, you better use the best products in that spray tank you possibly can to optimize the performance. TruTrack fungicide pass, I think, is good always in an application. I love cutting out fines. Trivia pursuit, the base technology in TruTrack fungicide pass in the last 15 years has covered over 1 billion acres of U.S. cropland. Wow. Aquadraft Premium, a premium surfactant in AMS system is needed. And then the CropFuse MSO or other opportunities once you're using that See and Spray. So I just run through those again. I think the Excavator AMS. The other great thing I see about See and Spray, that dual tank system allows us to put on products like Harvest Shield, Home Stretch, a lot of our micronutrient systems in that dual tank without having to mix it with that herbicide, which hurts both performance of both products. And then lastly, again, I already talked about the bottom ones here. For the drone applications, I think Chad's going to talk a little bit about TruTrack fungicide pass. Has worked wonderfly for him at really low rates. These aren't going to cost you much in a per acre system. I do think the humectant ability of Aquadraft C could also fit in that in hot, dry conditions.
Very good. Let me pass the clicker over to Chad, and if you would, talk about drones.
Talk about drones, all righty.
The big green button.
Yeah. So opportunities in the drone technology. The good and the bad about drones. Highly efficient, highly precise. This is the first time really in ag that we've been able to run a highly concentrated mix. And I'm talking 1 gallon to the acre up to 2 gallon to the acre. This is the first time we've been able to deliver a highly concentrated mix 10 to 12 feet above the canopy for some fantastic coverage. What I like about a highly concentrated mix is that every drop counts. Not saying a ground rig doesn't work by any stretch of the imagination, but we have seen a benefit when most of that product coming out of that drone is spray, it's effective. There's a return on investment. And again, when we compare that to any other aerial application on the market right now, we don't have to worry about tree lines or high lines or roads or anything like that. We can get in there, and for the most part, you know what, we're 98 to 100% coverage depending on the field. The downside of drone application is probably, I think a lot of people think because we have this great technology and it's automated, that means we don't have to manage it as effectively. And it's quite the opposite. I think with all this technology, whether it's See and Spray, whether it's all the biofungicides or biological products that Meristem offers, or whether it's drones, it has to be highly managed. We need to know why we're doing it. On the drone side, there's really no room for error. You know, we've been really that first company to effectively cover a lot of acres. You know, we can knock out 1,000 acres in a day with a couple of drones. We can knock out 500 or 600 acres a day with one drone. We're really the first to do that, but it's kind of simple. It starts the day before. It's management process. It's about knowing exactly where your fields are the day before you're ready to apply that product. And then it's about having highly trained pilots, highly trained spotters. They're knowing that they need to know, you know, what the field's shaped like, which they download that into the controller. But they need to know what their next move is. They always need to be thinking ahead, because we're only spraying for 6 or 7 minutes. And then the drone's coming back, we're changing batteries, we're putting in new product. So while it is autonomous, it is labor intensive and requires a high amount of management.
I don't know if you have any more slides.
See what's next.
You want to talk a little bit about Sweetwater?
Yeah, be glad to. So we like I said, 2022 we entered into it, and we almost entered it into it as a side gig. We almost thought of it as a novelty item until we picked up our first drone, and I said, hey, we can do this. This is cool. This is more than a novelty item. This could be a business venture. So we started that year, never sprayed a lick with a drone. I think with 4 drones, we ended up at the end of the year, we'd sprayed a little over 30,000 acres. So in 2023, we ramped that up, and we were able to cover 90,000 acres last year. And then we launched something called the Road to a Million Acres. And that's kind of our dedication to spray 1 million acres in 1 year with drones. And that's an agronomic endeavor. That's not a splash and dash operation. That's using quality products. That's usually highly concentrated mixes, and getting a return on investment for the farmers. And so we launched that, and then this spring, to help cover those acres, we launched a franchise model, and we launched that in May. Actually, Mr. Perkle right here, he's our Minnesota franchise. We got, as late as it was in the year, we got 5 franchises on, and everybody's doing quite well. We're looking to add 30 next year, and really that 1 million acres, I've kind of forgot about that. I think there's more potential than 1 million acres as we move forward.
Very good.
I don't think drones are going away anytime soon. You know, I've been on a lot of podcasts and things like that, and guys say, well, Chad, what do you think about helicopters and planes? The last thing I would want to do is think about the demise of somebody's business. I don't want that at all. I think helicopters and airplanes will have their place, but I do think drones are going to take up the majority of the market share, especially in the Corn Belt for now. You know, we start getting out in wheat country where you can't see the other end of the field. Right now, I think planes are king. They are king. As drones get bigger, we will become more efficient. You know, right now it's labor intensive. Spray 6, 7, 8 acres, come back, refill, change battery. The day that we can take off, fly across this lake, spray 80 acres in one fill, and come back, that's when drones will take over at pretty much 100% of the market share.
Very good.
And you know, you look at these numbers, it's the proof's right there. It's not going away.
Very good.
And again, the advantages of drone application, I won't go through those. line by line, but we can get out there when it's wet. We can get close to 100% coverage, 98 on the tough fields that might have a big tree line or something like that. Ability to make multiple passes. We're not out there burning a lot of diesel, which that's all playing into the conversations we've had all morning with carbon credits and things like that. That's going to play an important role. And really, the entry level to get into the drone business is you can save a lot of money. I mean, we're looking at not beating up your CNC. We're talking something different here. But for somebody wanting to start their own business right now, like a young person that has access to acres, or like Bill Perkle here that already had an established ag business, you can get into a franchise or get into the drone business at a lot more economical price.
Very good. I think if you go ahead and pass the clicker to Tyler, we'll get started.
All right. So I want to talk to you all about innovation in agriculture a little bit, something we're all familiar with. And before we talk about what's in front of us, I want to talk about what's behind us. And I'll just give you two examples in this space, but I want a little crowd participation here. Why is the year 1837 important in the world of John Deere? All right, I heard it. Self-scouring steel plow, exactly. So in 1837, John Deere founded the company under this product, right? And it is kind of funny today to think about a steel plow and innovation, but it absolutely was innovative. Back then, farmers would go a few hundred feet before they'd have to stop the animal, clear the blade, so that they can move again. This plow allowed for farmers to get so much more done in a day. It fundamentally changed farming, and it was a critical step to helping grow in scale and efficiency. Now, the second example of the past I have for you is from 1918. This will really challenge your history of Deere, but does anybody know why 1918 is an important year for Deere? What? Hey, nailed it. Very well done. John Deere acquired the Waterloo Gasoline Engine Company in 1918. Now, a couple of fun facts about this, just as an aside. Does anybody know what we paid for the Waterloo Gasoline Engine Company? It was about $2.1 million. It's worth noting, too, our CEO at the time, William Butterworth, rest in peace, he wrote a memo after writing the check that said that he didn't ever believe that the tractor would fully displace animals in farming. I say that to note two things. One is we're really glad we wrote that check, and two, we kept the memo. It's in our archives, and it is a reminder to us never to underestimate innovation and the change in agriculture. And these are just two examples of a line of incredible innovation in agriculture. And with the tractor, it's probably one of the most important innovations in agriculture, because again, you think about step function change in what a farmer could do. Very few things can create that kind of change the way the tractor did. But we will continue to see this level of innovation going forward. The difference is that in the past, if you think back the past 200 years, most of that incredible innovation, that step function change, came from tangible things. Iron, right? Things you could touch and feel. Going forward, this level of step function change in agriculture is going to come in part by iron, right? We're going to continue to innovate on the iron side, the hardware side, but the value is going to be derived from technology, digital side of that technology, artificial intelligence, edge computing. The impact to agriculture and the considerable changes we're going to see are going to be a result of these. Now, that's what I want to talk to you about here with the few minutes I have left. And I know that's not maybe as attractive as talking about the 830 horsepower articulated four-wheel drive. But there are some really exciting things happening on the digital side of agriculture right now, and I want to give you 3 examples of that. And I'll go through these pretty fast. And again, keep in mind, the point of this is not to give you all the details, but maybe drip on you a little bit for the sake of our conversation and the Q&A here in a moment. The first one I want to highlight is around furrow vision. This is a product that goes on planters, and the idea here is that there's a camera in the row unit, and that camera is looking down at the trench as it's opened by the planter, and it is looking at, with a laser, how deep is the seed? How well formed is your trench? Are the sidewalls too compact? Are they too loose? Is there trash in the trench? And based on the information this hardware identifies, it sends it to a computer on the machine, and that computer decides and makes micro decisions about the planter and how that planter is performing and how the planter should be adjusted to ensure that you get the best performance possible out of your planter, and that's at 10 miles an hour. So we can do that with the digital side, with artificial intelligence and monitoring what's happening in the trench. But again, it's a combination of hardware feeding the intelligence and the digital side of that equipment to make those decisions. My second example for you is around ExactShot. This is a product that we've launched a few years ago. And the idea here is that instead of putting down a starter fertilizer down the entire trench while planting, we can see where just the seed is, and we know where the seed is. We're not guessing. We know where it is. And we can dose that seed alone with the starter fertilizer that you want to put down and not spray between the seeds. And again, all of which at 10 miles an hour. What we've seen consistently through all of our tests and our pilots is that customers are saving 60%, 60% of their fertilizer while planting, and they have no yield drag as a result of that. An incredible enhancement, again, where software is leading the way, but the hardware is doing the executing. The third example I have for you has been mentioned a few times today, and it's See & Spray. And with See & Spray, there's a few versions of this product in the marketplace today. The one I want to hone in on is one that Joe mentioned. It's the 2-tank solution. With this solution, you have a big tank, and let's say that's used for your residual program. The smaller tank is for your herbicide program. As you go through the field, the sprayer will allow you to put down a fixed rate or a variable rate of your residual program as you cover the whole field. While you're doing that, the machine has 36 cameras on it, 10 processors. It can look and scan over 2,600 square feet per second while you're going through the field at 15 miles an hour. And while it's doing that, it is actively looking at what is corn, soybeans, cotton, and what's a weed. And when it sees a weed, it can activate the machine and make sure that that weed is sprayed, but you shuts the application off as you move beyond it. But again, all while maintaining your residual program at whatever rate you set it at. This product has been in the marketplace for several years. We have covered a lot of acres with it. And what we've seen is that with this machine learning, this artificial intelligence approach, we are saving consistently customers 65% of their herbicide. Now, obviously, that depends on how clean your fields are, but it is a huge improvement to the capability and the bottom line that we can deliver back to growers, while still maintaining the same coverage performance of a broadcast application. What's better is that there's data behind everything we do. Any one of these solutions, and I'll use See & Spray specifically as an example here, but we can show you in Operations Center, and this all information all flows over there wirelessly from the machine, but we will show you your weed pressure, how intense your weed pressure was at different parts of the field. We can show you where you actually sprayed, and we'll calculate for you how much savings you had within any given field or across your entire operation. These three examples of innovation have been developed by Deere, right? Again, largely digital, but developed by Deere to help ensure that our customers can get the most out of every kernel of grain they put in their field. As an organization, John Deere, we believe we can execute that job better than anyone else in the industry, and we will continue to invest aggressively in this digital era of innovation. But what we also recognize is that we are only one part of the equation. Growers need their agronomic advisors to help them understand what needs to go in the tank. What's the plan? What should they be trying that they haven't tried previously? Through these innovations, we will create greater savings for our customers. It's a question of what you do with those savings to help drive greater yields for your operation. As we think back to the plow and the tractor, those are examples of innovations that John Deere or Deere dealers generally could take to a customer and they could execute on their own. As you look forward to innovation, the things that are in the market that I just addressed and the things that are going to be coming in the near term, Deere cannot deliver these products with the full amount of value alone. We are bringing the execution part of this, but again, it's going to take collaboration more than any other time in the history of agriculture between the machinery and technology providers and the agronomic advisors to ensure that customers are truly getting the maximum benefit out of the systems and the capabilities that we can bring to the marketplace. I think it's an incredible opportunity for us all. It's the reason I'm so excited to be here with you all today and start taking some of the questions that you have.
Great. So thank you, guys. Thanks for getting us started. Questions. Again, we did this one a little different. We want to make sure we know technology is of interest to everyone in the room. And obviously, we've heard about a lot of the technology that Meristem's bringing to the party. But let's be honest, there's a lot of equipment technology as well. And that's why we wanted to have this. So we're open for questions. So who's got one right here? Just be loud. I'll try to repeat. And there's a mic coming right behind you, actually.
So the See & Spray technology with John Deere, is there any way by which it accounts for weeds that are still in the ground, have not emerged, and take care of that for future resolution?
Yeah, so it's a great question. No, we're not accounting for weeds that haven't emerged yet. What I would say is part of the value proposition around See & Spray, as well as other products like ExactShot, is that we are committed to being better over time. And that means that if we aren't getting better, you can stop using us. You can stop at any point in time. And so while it isn't a capability today, and See & Spray is still largely in its infancy in terms of capabilities, we're absolutely looking at the roadmap of future possibilities, and there's a lot of really good stuff in the pipeline today.
Great question. What else? Here's one back here. Go.
Okay, just to follow up on that, how small a weed do you detect and are you able to spray? Number 2 question would be, what is going to be the upcharge on a new sprayer with See & Spray technology, and is there going to be a per acre fee for that usage?
Imagine that, a farmer asking about price. That's a shocker.
Yeah. So I figured this question was coming, so I'm glad you asked it. So in terms of what we can sense weeds that are 1/4 of an inch tall and bigger. So really catching them young and early in the development phase. In terms of the price, we have, like I said, we have a multitude of different offerings. So to answer your question without getting into every detail, what I'll say is that you can get a See & Spray system for as little as $25,000 today, whether that be from the factory on a new piece of equipment or a 2018 unit. It's $25,000 is the low end, the entry-level price on the See & Spray system today. That'd be the single tank solution, but then again, as you pick options, it goes up from there. In terms of recurring fees, if you're doing fallow, there isn't. But as you get into corn, soybeans, and cotton, there is a recurring fee associated with that. And the purpose is that we wanted to bring you the hardware at as low of a cost as humanly possible. So that $25,000 installed, even on a 2018 machine, that is a very low price because we want to make this accessible to as many people as possible. And again, to my point earlier, we want to make sure that we're earning your business every year with capabilities. So there is a fee per acre that in 2025 is going to change. We're changing our model around this a little bit. For corn, soybeans, and cotton, it is $5 an acre. But with that, you're only paying when the machine is not spraying, right? So when you get value, that's the only time we're asking you to share in that with us a little bit. Now, as a part of that, we have announced publicly we will have loyalty programs starting in 2025 as well, where for those that are using the system and covering a substantial number of acres, we are looking to find ways of rewarding you and thanking you by lowering that recurring fee to a lower price. So again, we're evolving in this space.
Great. Question right here. Here's because of Mike right here behind you. A little better. Thank you.
2 questions. First one, See and Spray. Can you get it on a Hagie?
Good question. See and Spray on Hagie. This year is the first year where you can, but it's in a limited production only standpoint on the STS 16. We will be growing beyond limited production in 2026 and on other machines as well.
Okay. Second question. The drone thing, the last 2 years it's really picked up, and we've never really had big problems with tar spot. This year we're seeing it coming with vengeance. Are you able to control it with minimal gallons per acre?
We have been. Yes, we have been.
Okay. Great question. Other questions? Yeah, go right here. We got a mic close by. Raise your hand so we see you from behind, or a mic's coming. There you go.
I got a question. You see deer down the road building a front boom spray. I own a deer and a Hagie both. The software on the Hagie's been so messed up the last 5 years. You know, we have a lot of issues with it. You know, I know the cab's all deer now and the suspension, but you see deer coming down the road. Our Hagie having a See and Spray with a sprayer on the Hagie.
Yeah, so and I apologize, I missed some of that, but are we going to have See and Spray on Hagie, and then are we addressing software issues on some of the Hagie machines?
Yes. Yeah,
So
we know there's a major issue.
Yeah, so we recognize the software issues on the Hagie machines as well. I think as we've started to transition to more of the Deere architecture, we've recognized some incompatibilities. This year, and actually, there was a release less than a month ago on Hagie software that is probably the most considerable one that we've had in terms of addressing the problems that we've been experiencing. So for those that have experiencing that, I apologize. We have been aggressively working those down, and we feel like we're in a good spot. Unfortunately, I think we missed a lot of the busy season, but again, we do believe we've addressed a lot of those. And again, in terms of compatibility with See and Spray, in 2025, we have a number of Hagie See and Spray machines in the field with the See and Spray Premium kit, which is the single tank machine. That is we're gonna validate, make sure everything's working there. Again, we've had incredible test results over the past couple of years with those. And into 2026, you'll see a broader availability of that, and then availability into other machines as well over time.
Very good.
What's the biggest residual tank you'll be able to get on one for the residual? What's the size of the tank?
For the residual tank, I'd actually have to get back to you that one. I don't want to give you the wrong number, and I'm having two flow through my head. I'll catch you afterwards, and I'll make sure to get you the right number.
Okay. All right.
Next question. So you mentioned on your drones, how obviously I think you said something about trained pilots. Where are you finding them? How are you doing it? Are you doing are you getting them and then sending them to training? Talk about that a little bit, because I hear that a lot. You know, it's a really great technology, but yet don't have a pilot. Talk about that.
We're going to ag schools. I mean, the majority, we have 25 interns this year. The majority are from Purdue. We do have some local high school students that help us. We've got some guys from Iowa State right now. I mean, we're very fortunate. We're able to pick from an intelligent, highly motivated labor pool. I mean, you go to these ag schools and you got somebody that's enrolled in ag, that they are motivated.
Well, and you mentioned the best one, Purdue, so good for you. All right. That was for you Ohio State guys. All right, go. Oh.
Yeah, on the drone side, where do you see the evolution of the size and spraying capabilities?
You're a little bit muffled. What was that?
The drones, the size and the capabilities, how many acres they're going to spray, how do you see that evolution progressing from here?
It's going to be whatever the FAA allows us, really. You know, right now, I mean, gosh, we can fly a drone from the United States and drop a bomb in the Middle East. I mean, the technology's there. It's whatever they allow us to do. You know, it's going to move forward fast. Like, for instance, last year we ran T40s, and we're actually running T40s this year because the T50s came on a little too late for us to get them all exempted and get them licensed. But from what I hear, they're going to skip from a T50. They're not even going to go to a T60. They're going to go to a T70. What that T70 is, I don't know. But they will get bigger. They will get more efficient. probably, what we look forward most to are the improvements in battery life. That's the big one. Once we can do that, once we can have a heavier payload, that's when they really become more efficient. And it looks like we're going there.
Very good.
But the only bad thing about the technology side of things, when you start talking like drones, it's all exciting, but it's just like your phone. You got this cool drone this year, but next year it's outdated.
Next year it's outdated. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Great point. Mr. Agronomist, as you think about technologies and equipment, I mean, are there any things that you see coming or that you hope are coming, and maybe you want to ask these guys?
Well, I guess, my first question for Chad would be, how quick is a return on an investment? If I wanted to get in drones today, and I assume I need at least 2 so I can run them properly, what's my return on investment there? What kind of acres do I need to cover?
Well, like our business model right here, most of our franchises have a single truck unit, and you will see that exact unit out there. They're demoing they're demoing your product, Joe,
Yep.
today. So that would be the spitting image of what you would get, and we supply the truck, we supply the drone. And because of the changing in technology, we make sure that we give you a new drone every year, because we don't want to, our name is Sweetwater Technologies, not technology. We're not tied down to just one thing. And we will move forward. Maybe, maybe in 5 or 10 years, maybe drones aren't the thing. Well, that's fine. Our franchises will move on to the next latest and greatest thing. But right now, you really need to get that 100% return on investment, because it's just not about application. I mean, we've tried to be as vertically integrated as possible. Meristem has helped that with private labeling, a lot of Meristem products. So, our franchises don't only make it off revenue off of application, they make it off of products as well. 7,500 acres is nice. You start getting up to 10,000 acres, that's over 100% return on investment, and I think that's really our goal.
Yeah. Very good. Cool.
Putting
Are you
cover
doing any
crops.
swarms? You flying swarms? Doing that?
We're not flying swarms. I know there's.
You think we'll get there?
We will, but again, it has to be highly managed. I don't know, is it Helio got the exemption for swarming, 1 guy, 3 drones? I don't know how you manage 3 drones.
Okay.
I don't know how you fill up 3 drones with product. I don't know how you change batteries for 3 drones, and I don't know how you keep track of 3 drones with 1 pilot. It's a management deal, really.
Okay. Very good. Question back here. Go.
Cover crops, seeding cover crops with drones. You doing it?
We will be this fall, Rob. I know Josh McLean here. He's got a lot more experience than I do with cover crops with drones.
But you do see yourself doing that this fall?
Yes, we'll be doing that this fall.
Very good. Other questions? Other questions? We got time for maybe 1 or 2 more. Go right here. Be loud.
What is your average productivity in a day?
Our average what?
How many acres in a day? Is that your question?
Acres in a day. If we averaged it out from the time that we left the mix shed in the morning till the time that we got home in the afternoon, which includes everything, travel, whatever. I mean, really, we're probably 30 acres an hour. It's a 300 to 400 acre day average, depending on the field size. Though it's no different.
Sure.
It's no different than a see and spray. You get into a bunch of 5-acre fields, you're not very efficient.
Actually, you ought to charge board. It could be a really good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, really, you do. I mean, our franchise out in Pennsylvania, I mean, they deal with a lot of 15, 20,
Sure.
30-acre fields. So, yeah, his rate is higher than here in the Midwest.
Very good. Same thing about efficiency, Tyler. If we're using the planter technology that you showed and doing things at 10 miles an hour, 24 row, how many can we do? How many acres can we do in a day?
Boy, again, highly dependent upon field shape and size, but it is not unreasonable to, several hundred acres.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
I put you on the spot. Sorry, but I
No,
just
it's
thought that was interesting because, again, 10 mile an hour. I know I would, no way I'd have a straight row. I don't care how much technology you got. All right, what else? Any others? Any other questions? Yeah, go right here. Last one. Here we go.
On the See and Spray, question earlier about the, can it picture, can it visualize the weeds, obviously, that are underground, and that was a no, not at this time. What about we look at like residue, going out there with that first application, if you will, where we're laying down a residual and we've got residue, right? We're talking about no-till, things like that. Can it pick, how well can it pick up that weed that might be hidden underneath residue? Is that an issue, or how does that work?
Yeah, and so again, it was a little faint, but how well can we pick up
Yeah, how well can
under
it pick
residue?
up a weed under residue?
Yeah.
Something small that, it's April, we're just starting to get that germination, and we don't want to miss that guy that's underneath that corn stalk because that's going to come back and haunt us in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So again, in a lot of our tests, we've actually seen incredible results with this. When you only need 1/4 of an inch of a weed to recognize it, that it's proven to be exceptionally helpful. We've seen great results as a side effect of that. And again, in a lot of what we're doing too is not just trying to understand how well the machine works on its own, but really benchmarking it relative to a traditional broadcast application and how well that gets under the stalk, right, to get the weed. And again, we're seeing the same level of performance and effectiveness. We are seeing the machine pick up the weeds, even though maybe part of it is underneath the stalk or some other portion of residue.
Very good. Help me thank the panel. Thank you, guys. Thank you. They'll be here around lunch, I'm sure, so if you want to catch them individually, please feel free to do that. Okay, some logistics. Here we go. You guys all know what you're about to do. You're about to go to lunch, but you need to wrap up lunch about 1:20. Start moving to the buses, okay? It's about 1:20. Start moving to the buses. And one final pitch, please continue to be here through tomorrow morning. Have an incredible program planned for you, and we want to make sure you get to take advantage to learn and connect and recharge. Have a great lunch. Enjoy the plots.